ابھی ہوں پر ہمیں یاد ہی نہیں آ رہا ہے کہ ہم کن چیزوں کو اپنے آپ سے دور کر کے اور ہم خالی ہوتے جا رہے ہیں، خلا میں جا رہے ہیں. یہ زمانہ، آج کا زمانہ بے حد ضرورت رکھتا ہے اس بات کی کہ ہم ان چیزوں کو یاد کریں، ان حرمتوں کا احساس کریں جو ہمارے آباء و اجداد نے ہمیں دیں، اور یہاں آ کے پاکستان میں ہم وہ آہستہ آہستہ اسے ہم نے معدوم کر دیا. کتابیں پڑھنا، کتابیں لکھنا، کتاب سے محبت کرنا، یہ تو بزرگوں نے سکھایا تھا. مجھے یاد ہے میں جب چھوٹی سی تھی تو ہمارے ہاں ہر محلے میں ایک آنا لائبریری ہوتی تھی، اور آنا لائبریری میں ایک دن کا ایک آنا لگتا تھا اس کتاب کا. ہم 5 بہن بھائی تھے، تو جب کتاب آتی تھی تو جلدی جلدی پڑھنا ہے تاکہ زیادہ آنے نہ خرچ ہوں. تو میں چھوٹی تھی تو میں فوراً وہ کتاب اٹھا لیتی تھی، جیسے ہی وہ 4 بھائی بہن پڑھ لیتے تھے تو میں بہت چھوٹی عمر میں نے منٹو کو پڑھ لیا، عصمت کو پڑھ لیا، اور وہ میری سمجھ میں نہیں آئے لیکن میں نے پڑھ لیا کیونکہ آنا لائبریری سے کتاب آئی ہے اور بس ہمارے پاس ابھی ایک آنے کا دن باقی ہے. تو جب میں بی اے کر رہی تھی اور اس وقت جب ہم نے منٹو کو پڑھا اور ان سب لوگوں کو پڑھا، عصمت کو پڑھا، تو پھر میں نے سوچا کہ میں نے کیا پڑھ لیا تھا جب میں 9 سال کی تھی اور 10 سال کی تھی. اس وقت میری سمجھ میں ہی نہیں آیا تھا. لیکن دیکھیے میری والدہ نے مجھے منع نہیں کیا تھا کہ مت پڑھو. کمال کی بات یہ ہے، انہوں نے کبھی کسی کتاب کو پڑھنے کو منع نہیں کیا. مجھے آج بھی وہ اپنا شہر کا کلچر یاد ہے کہ میرے گھر میں سیرت النبی کی کتاب بھی رکھی ہوتی تھی اور اس کے ساتھ ہی نہج البلاغہ بھی رکھی ہوتی. ہم نے نہج البلاغہ بھی پڑھی، اس کے ساتھ ساتھ سیرت النبی بھی پڑھی، بہشتی زیور بھی پڑھ لیا. تو پڑھنے میں کسی کو منع نہیں کیا گیا کہ یہ اچھا ادب ہے اور وہ برا ادب. ادب ادب ہوتا ہے، ادب اچھا اور برا نہیں ہوتا، اور اگر آپ اس سے محبت کرتے ہیں تو وہ ادب سب سے پیارا ادب ہوتا ہے. اب ہم کیونکہ آپ کی یہ جو خوبصورت سی محفل ہے سے دیکھ کر میں سوچ رہی ہوں کہ ایسی محفلیں ہوتی تھیں، فیض صاحب آ رہے ہیں، ہمیں تو لگتا تھا جیسے آج کی بچیاں شاہ رخ خان یا سلمان خان کو دیکھ کے تڑپ اٹھتی ہوں گی، ہم فیض صاحب کو دیکھ کے بلبل آ جاتے تھے کہ ہمیں فیض صاحب کو سننا ہے. فراز آ گئے شہر میں تو شہر جگمگا گیا ہے، یا ہم کسی مشاعرے میں جا رہے ہیں تو یہ جو ایک للک تھی، یہ جو ایک شوق تھا، اس میں بہت کمی آ گئی. اور اب ہم بہت بڑی ڈیبیٹ میں جا سکتے ہیں کہ جی اے آئی آ گیا اور بچوں میں کو ٹیلی فون آ گیا اور فلاں. نہیں، ہم بڑوں نے اپنی اس ساکھ کو کھو دیا ہے. ہمیں ان محفلوں میں اس بات کا اعتراف کرنا چاہیے کہ ہم نے اس زبان کو بھی کھویا جو سب سے حسین زبان ہے ہماری. جب ہم کراچی فیسٹیول کا نام لیتے ہیں تو ہماری زبان سب سے پہلے ہمیں یاد آتی ہے, اور آنا چاہیے. کیوں نہیں آنا چاہیے؟ کیونکہ وہ زبان لے کر تو ہم نے ملک میں قدم رکھا تھا, لیکن ہم نے اسے بھی بھلا دیا. اور اس کے ساتھ ساتھ پھر بہت ساری چیزیں آ گئی. ہم گلوبل ولیج میں ہیں, میں مانتی ہوں, ہمیں دنیا سے ٹکرانا ہے, اس سے مقابلہ کرنا ہے, ہمیں اپنے بچوں کو باہر بھیجنا ہے, انہیں اعلیٰ تعلیم دلانا ہے. انگلش میڈیم میں پڑھیں گے تو وہ بچے کہیں بڑی جگہ ان کو نوکری ملے گی, لیکن کیا ہمارے بڑے ہمارے گھروں میں کیا وہ گفتگو کر رہے ہیں جو پہلے کی جاتی تھی؟ مجھے اپنی نسل سے بہت شکایت ہے. میں بچوں سے میں مایوس ہی نہیں ہوتی ہوں. میں اسکول رن کرتی ہوں, میں نے اپنے بچوں کو یہ سکھایا کہ اپنے جوتے خود پالش کریں. آپ نہ امی سے کہیں گے نہ نوکر سے کسی سے, اور مجھے آ کے بتائیں گے میڈم ہم نے اپنے جوتے خود پالش کیے ہیں. دوسرے دن میرے پاس کچھ اعتراضات آئے کہ ہمارے بچوں پر ہم نے 2 نوکر رکھے ہیں, آپ نے بچوں سے جوتے پالش کروا لیے. میں نے ان سے کہا اب یہ تو 3ری کلاس کا بچہ تھا, میں نے اس کے جوتے پالش کروائے ہیں. جب یہ 8ویں کلاس میں آئے گا تو شاید میں کسی دن یہ کہوں کہ استاد کے جوتے پالش کر کے دو. کیونکہ ہم نے وہ وقت دیکھا ہوا ہے جب استاد کے جوتیاں سیدھی کرنا, یہ الفاظ ہم نے سیکھے ہوئے ہیں. لیکن اب یہ ساری چیزیں بہت پرانی, میں نے کہا نا پتھر کے زمانے کی لگتی ہیں. تو میں آج اس پلیٹ فارم سے اپنے وہ تمام لوگ جو میری عمر کے ہیں, جو اس پاکستان کی عمر کے ہیں, جنہوں نے اس پاکستان کو بنتے سنورتے آگے بڑھتے دیکھا اور آج کی منزل بھی دیکھ رہے ہیں, آج کا زمانہ بھی دیکھ رہے ہیں, دل دکھے ہوئے ہیں, بہت شکستہ ہیں. لیکن ہم کیا کر رہے ہیں, ہم اپنا کیا حصہ ڈال رہے ہیں, اور ہم کس طرح اپنی نسل کو اس ادب سے, اس کلچر سے, اس تہذیب سے, اس موسیقی سے, اس مصوری سے شوق پیدا کرا رہے ہیں. جس شہر میں بچے انگلش میڈیم میں پڑھ رہے ہوں اور وہاں مائیں آ کر یہ کہیں کہ میوزک ٹیچر کے پیریڈ میں آپ میرے بچے کو باہر ہٹا دیا کریں کیونکہ میں نہیں چاہتی کہ وہ میوزک سیکھے. میوزک سے اتنا اختلاف رائے ہو جائے اگر, تو وہ معاشرہ کہاں جاتا ہے جہاں ایستھیٹکس ختم ہو جاتی ہیں, جمالیاتی. یہ پورا جو آپ کلچر کا پروگرام دیکھ رہے ہیں یہ پورا جمالیاتی ذوق ہے, یہ ایستھیٹکس ہیں. میں آپ کو صرف ایک چھوٹی سی مثال دوں گی اور پھر میں اپنی گفتگو ختم کروں گی. بڑے مایہ ناز لوگ یہاں موجود ہیں, وہ بہت اعلیٰ گفتگو کریں گے, انہیں میں سننے آئی ہوں, میں بولنے کے لیے نہیں آئی ہوں. لیکن جب مجھے مائک سامنے آتا ہے تو پھر میں رک نہیں پاتی. میں آپ کو اس ایستھیٹکس پہ اور جو جمالیاتی ذوق ہے اس پہ میں آپ کو ایک چھوٹی سی بات بتانا چاہتی ہوں کہ ڈیونچی کوڈ ایک ناول ہے, اور اس ڈیونچی کوڈ کے اوپر ایک فلم بنائی گئی. اس فلم کا ایک 1.5-2 منٹ کا سین ہے جو یہ ثابت کرتا ہے کہ قومیں وہ ترقی کرتی ہیں اور گر کے اٹھ کے کھڑی ہو جاتی ہیں جن کی ایستھیٹکس جو ہیں وہ زندہ رہتی ہیں, جن کا جمالیاتی ذوق زندہ رہتا ہے. اس فلم کا سین ہے کہ ایک ہیرو ایک آرٹ گیلری میں, پیرس کی آرٹ گیلری, اس میں وہ بھاگ رہا ہے, اس کے پیچھے پولیس والا ایک بندوق لے کر اس کے پیچھے بھاگ رہا ہے, اور وہ سمجھ رہا ہے کہ چور ہے, اور ہیرو نکل کے جانے کی کوشش کر رہا ہے, لیکن چاروں طرف بڑی بڑی پینٹنگز لگی ہیں اور اس کو راستہ نہیں مل رہا ہے. لیکن ہیرو کو یہ پتا ہے کہ یہ جو پولیس والا ہے یہ فرینچ ہے, اور اس کی کیا ذہنیت ہے اس کو پتا ہے. اس نے کیا کیا, جہاں وہ بالکل ایک جگہ رک گیا اور پیچھے دیوار تھی اور وہ نہیں بھاگ سکتا تھا, پولیس والے نے جب گن تان لی تو اس نے پاس پڑی ہوئی اپنے ایک بہت بڑے مصور کی تصویر اٹھا کے اپنے سامنے کر لی. پولیس والے نے گن نیچے کر دی اور وہ بھاگ گیا. جب اس کے باس نے پوچھا کہ تمہارے سامنے تھا وہ, تم نے کیوں نہیں مارا اس کو, اس نے کہا سر میں ایک بہت بڑے آرٹسٹ کی پینٹنگ کو مجروح نہیں کرنا چاہتا تھا. یہ ہے فرانس, یہ وہ قوم ہے جہاں صنعتی انقلاب آیا, جہاں انہوں نے بڑے بڑے, آپ سب گئے ہوں گے دیکھا ہوگا, بڑے بڑے قلعے مسمار ہیں, خاک ہو گئے ہیں وہاں, لیکن وہاں آج بھی مونالیزا مسکرا رہی ہے. لاکھوں لوگ جاتے ہیں اس مونالیزا کو دیکھنے, آج بھی اس آرٹ گیلری کو دیکھنے جاتے ہیں. کسی مجسمے کی ناک نہیں توڑی گئی, کسی لائبریری کو آگ نہیں لگائی گئی. وہ قوم گری اور گر کے اٹھ کے کھڑی ہو گئی. وہ قومیں کبھی زندہ نہیں رہتی جن کا جمالیاتی ذوق مر جاتا ہے. तो ये जो आप कराची में बैठकर और इस वक्त एक कल्चरल एक एंटरटेनमेंट देख रहे हैं या एक्टिविटी देख रहे हैं, असल में ये चीज कौम को जिंदा रखने वाली है। मैं मुबारकबाद देना चाहूंगी मुंतजमीन को कि उन्होंने हमारी एक गिरती हुई दीवार को खड़ा कर दिया है। मुबारकबाद आप सब लोगों को कि आपने उस कल्चर को, उस तहजीब को, सकाफत को, अदब को, शायरी को, किताब को जिंदा रखने की कोशिश की है जो अल्लाह ताला ने हमारे हाथों में दी है और हम उसकी कदर नहीं कर रहे हैं। तो इसकी कदरदानी पर आपका शुक्रिया और पूरे कराची की जानिब से आपका शुक्रिया कि आपने एक ऐसी महफिल सजाई है जिसमें कराची के वो लोग जो सुनना चाहते हैं, जो बोलना चाहते हैं, वो आते हैं और वो बैठकर सुनते भी हैं और बोलते भी हैं। सुनना बहुत मुश्किल काम है, बोलना जरा थोड़ा आसान काम है। तो मैं आप लोगों से इजाजत चाहूंगी इस शुक्रिया के साथ कि आज मुझे इस स्टेज पर बुलाया गया और आप जैसे मोतबर लोगों के सामने मैंने कुछ कहने की जुर्रत की है। बहुत मुबारक। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
आपका बहुत शुक्रिया। I mean, इतनी खूबसूरत ज़बान, I think the Senate of Pakistan is less without her intellect and erudition. Our next keynote speaker is Mishal Hussain, a journalist, broadcaster, and author. Her book was recently launched at KLF, and I'm sure all of you know her from the BBC. Mishal Hussain.
ख़वातीन हज़रात आदाब, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। बुरा ना माने, लेकिन चूंकि मैं बाहर से आई हूँ, आपकी इजाज़त से मैं अंग्रेज़ी में बोलूँगी। It has been an enlightening experience to have shared the last 3 days of KLF 2025 with you all. The thought that went into the program in advance has been brought to life by the talks and discussions, the presentations, performances, questions and answers. It has been indeed a celebration of the written word, of art, of creativity, of expression of the human condition in all its forms. This is, of course, what the organisers have been working on for months and what we have all become a part of and benefited from by being here. So thank you, Oxford University Press, sponsors, supporters, those who look after the premises and the programme in every conceivable way. Each one of you has played a role in contributing to the complete experience. It has been a privilege to be with you for my first KLF, discovering another dimension of the city that I have visited since childhood. Karachi has always been invigorating, but in these spaces, it is as if its talent, its buzz, its special spirit has been brought under one roof. Here we've been taken into many worlds, from F.S. Ijazuddin's postcards of pre-independence Pakistan to a remembrance of Bapsi Sidhwa, from Kathak to film, discussions on climate change and relations with Bangladesh to comedy, verse, fine art, architecture, theatre, and from English and Urdu to Sindhi, Balochi, Punjabi and Pashto. None of this happens by accident, and I salute everyone who has made it possible. I came here to talk about my own book, Broken Threads, My Family from Empire to Independence. It is an endeavor into which I poured my heart and soul, and which ended up giving me a very strange experience in the past 3 to 4 years while I worked on it. My day job was as a journalist and broadcaster on a prominent BBC radio programme and on BBC TV News in the UK. I was therefore immersed in the here and now, in daily news, in keeping up with every twist and turn of politics and international affairs across all the social media platforms. At the same time, in my off-air hours, I was immersed in the past, researching and writing about the 100 years from 1857 and a little about the period beyond. Some mornings, when my 3 a.m. alarm would go off and I would be jolted towards another early newsroom shift, it would take me several moments to adjust to the present as I realized where I had been in my dreams. Sometimes it was 1920, the year in which my grandmother Tahira was born in Aligarh, at the precise moment when the town known for Sir Saeed's College, was convulsed with divisive politics. That was the year Gandhi had come to Aligarh with Muhammad Ali Johar and called for a boycott of all British funding, a severance of ties with the Raj. Most students supported him, but the college authorities were aghast, for they were on the brink of becoming a university. And so some mornings I would wake up knowing that mentally I had been in the Aligarh Students' Union in the febrile days of those discussions. On others, I would wake up having been in Multan in the 1930s. As another grandparent, Mumtaz became the first in his family to start wearing Western dress, discovering that he rather liked the feel of jacket, tie, and trousers, and feeling grateful that, unlike some of his peers, he did not have to hide the wearing of such garments beyond school premises from his parents. Or some mornings I would wake up knowing I'd been mentally on a long train journey across India, December 1942, traveling with my grandmother Mary in my mind as she went from Lahore to Calcutta and then south towards Madras to her hometown, preparing to tell her widowed mother and the nuns who educated her that she was no longer going to be a nurse as they had planned. Instead, she had married, and that too to a Muslim from faraway Punjab. I imagined her looking out of the window at the passing landscape, full of anticipation and excitement at her new life, but also probably full of dread at the likely reaction to her news. I mentioned these dreams, this process of immersion in different worlds, because of the many writers and creators of different kinds who are gathered here. In their dreams, there will be fictional characters. There will be the search for exactly the right word of translation or expression. For the visual artists, there will be images that are their inspiration, circulating in their mind's eye as their next work evolves. Poets might wake up trying to capture the lines that were somehow present and perfect in their subconscious. Film and documentary makers will know the scenes that seem to work immaculately in their dreams. And for agents and publishers and designers, there will be layouts and captions and the perfect title or subtitle or endorsement and the dreamt of readership and audience. And that's where all of us come in and come together, because we are that audience. We are all consumers and readers, and we all benefit from the dreams of the creators. In the context of Pakistan, their work is no less part of building a nation than the putting up of a factory or the building of a road. When my grandfather Shahid published his partition diary in 1986, he was trying to counter an international narrative of 1947 that had largely left out the perspective of his fellow citizens. Real history emerges only when all points of view are taken into consideration, he wrote, and mine are those of a Muslim and a Pakistani. Stories matter. Creative expression of all kinds matters. Our emotions in all their complexity are part of the human condition. We all seek entertainment and enlightenment and joy. The creators give us that. And taken together, they also paint the canvas of a multi-dimensional nation. I thought about all of this when I was filming recently in the United States, and I discovered the context of a poem that has become legendary in American history. It begins like this: "Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere." This was Longfellow writing in 1860 of the moment 85 years earlier, when revolutionary Paul Revere rode out from Boston to warn the surrounding Massachusetts towns and villages that British soldiers would be coming their way. Longfellow was writing of a distant time, an inspiring earlier time for the still young American nation, because by 1860, its unity was imperiled. The Civil War was looming. That war still happened, of course, but Longfellow created something with which almost every American is familiar. It was a way to tell part of the story of the country through verse, where the rhythm of the words have a way of occupying part of the mind and staying there. And that way was more compelling and more enduring than any state-organized message could be. Creative expression in all its forms has to be part of any nation's story, and it has long been so in Pakistan. It is unwise and unnecessary and wrong for any leader to be afraid of it or seek to restrict it. They are also unlikely to be successful in doing so in any real sense and anywhere beyond the short term. It is because it is the natural flow and admirable quality of the citizen who has the talent and the ability to create. And for the rest of us, it is our task, indeed our duty, to be their audience, to support their dreams, present and future, to follow their train of thought, to read, to buy books, to buy art where we can, to subscribe and follow and amplify, because what they do is for us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mishal. KLF really has been a celebration of all this. And I think what she said was so important. And I think what happens in a country like ours is that we don't invest in art and we don't invest in books. And our libraries are dying and we don't have public spaces where people can go and look at art. So thank you, HBL, for this little glimpse into the art world. I would now like to invite Mr. Khalid Mahmood, the Group CEO of Getz Pharma, who's also a friend and a wonderful person and champions every fabulous cause in the world, especially literature, arts, etc., to come and give a vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, and fellow lovers of art, excuse me, fellow lovers of art, books, wisdom, and literature. A very good evening to you, and assalamu alaikum. It is an honor to be standing here before you at this celebration of literature, a festival of voices and ideas have shaped our world. It is also a great honor for Getz Pharma to have supported KLF from its very inception for most of the years so far. Thank you. Over the years, KLF has become a symbol of Karachi's vibrant cultural life, showcasing the city's resilience and creativity through the power of storytelling and dialogue. We gather here every year not just to admire the beauty of language, but also to recognize the power, its ability to change, to confront, and to resist. Literature has always been an act of resistance. From the ancient scriptures to the modern books, stories have been weapons against oppression, ignorance, and silence. When poets like Pablo Neruda, Faiz Ahmad Faiz, and the famous Palestinian poet Mahmoud Darwish wrote under regimes that sought to silence them, they proved that words could outlast the oppressors. Writing itself is an assertion that truth matters, that voices matter, and that we matter. I believe that the state of our world today demands our voices more than ever. The forces of tyranny and darkness, rely on our silence to perpetuate their despotism. Whether it is in our own country, where unelected men and dictators impose brazen censorship on us and on our media and others who speak out, or it is the Middle East today, where the greatest crime of the century is unfolding before our eyes. in what has become history's first live-streamed genocide. It is regrettable that in all the dozens of sessions over the last 2 days at KLF, not a single one was dedicated to the ongoing Holocaust at Palestine. My aim, ladies and gentlemen, is not to unduly criticize, but as one of the most consistent and oldest supporters of KLF, I have a duty of care to its well-being and its ideals. The point was made to me that in the current climate, literature festivals have to be careful to be apolitical, to not offend the powers that be. My view is contrary to this. Literature is nothing if it is not political. Its very function, its very function is to be subversive and to question imposed narratives. If this is not literature, then I do not know what is. We will do well to evoke the memory of the Indian progressive writers movement of 1929, whose founders wrote in their constitution and their manifesto that art and literature must be a tool for social change. It is no surprise that this movement produced the greatest poets and writers of the 20th century. People like Faiz Ahmad Faiz, Isma Chugtai, Munshi Premchand, Sahir Ludhianvi, and Sadat Hasan Minto. It is not just in India or in the subcontinent that the progressive writers became the best of the poets and writers. It is also in Latin America, where the writers who challenged the narratives of dictatorship and despotism, that they produced the greatest writers and poets, Nobel laureates. The same is true for Africa and the Middle East. Ladies and gentlemen, history is political. Conflict is political. War and peace is political. News is political. Therefore, literature, of course, is political. So let us summon the courage. Let us champion writers who dare to speak, who dare to unveil inconvenient truths. And let us carry their voices forward, ensuring that literature remains what it has always been, a beacon in the darkness and a fire against injustice, a resistance that never ends. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Khalid. By the way, this is the first time Khalid has come to speak at KLF, despite being a main sponsor so many times. And I totally agree, literature is an act of resistance. And in defense of KLF, I will say that I attended many sessions where over these past 2.5 days, where there were lots of inconvenient truths told, much to the discomfort of lots of people, whether in the audience or among the organizers or whatever. But people did speak out, and I'm sure they will continue to. I would now like to request Ms. Maya Inayat Ismail, Chairperson, Sustainability Forum of HBL, to come and say a few words. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed authors, poets, thinkers, and all attendees of the Karachi Literature Festival 2025. On behalf of HBL, it has been an absolute pleasure to be a part of this enriching journey of literature and the arts. Over the past few days, we have witnessed the power of words, the beauty of ideas, and the magic of storytelling. from thought-provoking panel discussions to heartfelt poetry recitations, from the celebration of diverse voices to the exploration of pressing global issues, this festival has been a testament to the enduring ability of literature and art to connect people. HPL, in its role as a patron, is committed to carry forth the spirit of nurturing and supporting thinkers, poets, writers, and artists, and encouraging public engagement with the arts. This is our third year of holding a curated display of HBL's permanent art collection. Along with the Children's Art Workshop, this is an effort to showcase Pakistani art to the people of Karachi. And if you have not seen it, I would recommend highly that you do before you leave today. The conversation we started here at KLF 2025 will stay with us. Let us continue to read, write, and engage with the world around us. Let us remember that literature is not just a reflection of society, but also a tool for change, a bridge between cultures, and a source of hope. We look forward to seeing you again next year with even more stories to share and more ideas to explore. In the words of John Elia, ना इल्म फन की दुनिया का हौसला टूटे, ना इल्म फन की दुनिया का हौसला टूटे, हमारी प्यास की शिद्दत से कहकशां बरसे. A special thank you to the dedicated teams who work tirelessly behind the scenes to bring this festival to you. Let us continue to create spaces where tolerance can thrive, voices can be heard, and stories can be told. Shukriya.
Thank you, Maha, for that. Maya, sorry. And again, I will say you must go and see this pavilion. It's right behind you. It's absolutely incredibly beautiful. The work is fantastic, and it's only a part of their permanent collection. I mean, it's a very small part of it. Last year, they had some fabulous things as well. And finally, I would now like to request Mr. Arshad Saeed Husain, the Managing Director of Oxford University Press Pakistan, to present a vote of thanks and close KLF.
Distinguished keynote speakers, Ms. Khushbakht Shujaat, Ms. Mishal Hussain, Mr. Khalid Mahmood, Group CEO, Getz Pharma, Ms. Maya Inayat, Chairperson, HPL Microfinance Bank, and Chairperson, Sustainability Forum, scholars, authors, students, sponsors, media representatives, ladies and gentlemen. Karachi's sunsets are beautiful, especially from here, looking out on the gleaming waters behind me, over the dense green of the mangroves and the stalk-like cranes of the harbor, to the swirls of color the departing sun is leaving behind. So for the 16th time, the sunset has brought us to the close of the Karachi Literature Festival this year. The sun is set and the harbor lights are calling. Tomorrow, many of you will be checking on your flights and packing your bags. Tomorrow, this hotel, which has so zealously and admirably hosted our festival, will have gone back to hosting its more customary events. Tomorrow, you and I, who have taken part in this festival of books and learning, will be heading back to our more usual preoccupations and lives. And it will all be over. Or will it? The great American poet T.S. Eliot wrote, "You're not the same people who left the station or who will arrive at the terminus." Precisely, ladies and gentlemen, we, all of us here, who have witnessed or participated in this festival will in some way or the other not be the same person as before. For that is the way with events like these. Afterwards, there will be memories of the kaleidoscope of all we have witnessed, memories of the different people we've met, memories of all those whose words we have listened to. For this is a unique kind of event that doesn't leave one unaffected. We, each of us, speaker or listener, will have added to our learning and to the some learning of human learning. What KLF is about is opening up towards the future. That is where we must now turn. So let us look forward from the crisis of today to tomorrow and what we must do to make the world of tomorrow a better place. As a people, as a nation, we usually do manage to find the way forward. And this is despite having all the odds, including in good measure our own follies, stacking against us. Despite everything, we Pakistanis have continually shown a special kind of resilience. And ladies and gentlemen, so long as there exists this resilient spirit which revels in the struggle and in overcoming problems, there will always be hope for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, the words, music, art, and scholarship we've experienced are all products of this soil, products of the Pakistani mind and hearts, which we encapsulated in our theme for the festival, narratives from the soil. We have together lit another torch in this land of ours, a torch we need to be proud of. Over the past 2.5 days, the participants in our session have examined and analyzed the most consequential issues of our time. For the first time in the KLF, we had an open kacheri with the mayor of Karachi answering questions for the audience. This was a new format for a session which I hope will continue to keep as one of our signature sessions, much like the Grand Mushaira, which everyone loves so much. This year also saw many book launches and literary dialogue. Another new feature this year was the Youth Pavilion for young people aged 5 to 18, an area which we must build up to offer new insights to our younger readers. For the future, we plan to have a more interactive, open mic format in our sessions with the voice of people amplified. People, our panelists, need to hear what the people of Karachi have to say. This year, our attendance has been phenomenal, be it the luminaries on stage or in the audience. I've been told by many with a twinkle in their eyes that they were spoiled for choice in the 2-day lineup of sessions, and they had to make the difficult decision of choosing their favorite child. Karachi Literature Festival celebrates the literary diaspora, but more importantly, it celebrates all of you, the people of Karachi. We've brought this festival to you. We've brought your favorite speakers, artists, performers, and thought leaders so that you can interact with them You can meet them, you can hear from them, and if you're lucky, get a chance to have a conversation with them or even get their autographs. You know, in today's social media world, it's very easy for anyone, anywhere in the world, to sit in the comfort of their homes and watch a session, either live or a recording. But it is this physical interaction which all of you here endorse by coming here, even with the bad traffic in Karachi, even with not being able to find adequate seats to sit in. You are all here because you love art and literature and culture, and you want to interact with the great literary people who have graced our 2.5 days. So a very big thank you to all of you for being here. For now, it's time for me to give this stage over to others. But first, I must say thank you to all our speakers, panelists, and performers. Whether you've come here from overseas or from elsewhere in Pakistan or from here in Karachi, thank you for having inspired and enlightened all of us. I must give a special thanks to all our sponsors and co-sponsors who have helped make KLF a success. Our title sponsor, the Government of Sindh, whose timely and valuable support is much appreciated. We are also grateful to our sponsors, our platinum sponsor, HPL, our gold sponsor, Getz Pharma, the British Deputy High Commission in Karachi, British Council, Lincoln's Corner, Goethe Institute, National Foods, NBF Funds, UBL Al-Amin Funds, Bank Al-Falah Investments, SMS Security for making sure all of us are here safe and secure. The Oxford AQA, Dolan's, Tapal Danedar, Jerry's, Pepsi, Arts Council of Pakistan, Tehzeeb Foundation, Kareem, and SI Global. Let me express my thanks to the media for their interest and enthusiasm. It is you who will carry around the country and around the world the deliberations here, whether in the press or in the broadcast media or in your commentaries. The KLF is home to the historic Beach Luxury Hotel. My special thanks to the Avari family, the management, the staff of Beach Luxury Hotel for taking such good care of all of us here. Many thanks also to the teams of our media agency, Nutshell Communication, and our event organizers, Spot On and Prime Productions, who have helped put all of this together. I would particularly like to thank my friend Tariq Alexander Kesser for his invaluable advice and contribution in putting together this fantastic venue. Thank you, Tariq. And of course, I must thank the Karachi Literature Festival Advisory Board and jury members who have provided us insight into the whole program and putting this new spirit to the Karachi Literature Festival. A special thank you to all our facilitators and volunteers in red t-shirts. These young children have been working tirelessly over the past 2.5 days. These children are the future of Pakistan, and their very presence and commitment over these days and their interest in meeting our speakers and authors just shows that there is a lot of hope in the future of our country. Before I close, I would like to request the Karachi Literature Festival Organizing Committee and the OUP admin team and security team to please come on stage for a group photograph. Can I request Khurram and Muniza to please make sure all our KLF organizing committee are here on stage with us. We will all have a group photograph with the advisory, with the KLF organizing committee. But before they join us on stage, ladies and gentlemen, a very big thank you to all of you, participants or guests, speakers or listeners, delegate or participant, adult or child. Thank you for having been a part of the Karachi Literature Festival and making this such a phenomenal success. Thank you all. Can I request? Please, Tammy, please join us. भाई इसको जगह दे थोड़ी सी and where's Shazia? Is she here? जल्दी से बुला लें get to stage immediately. Get to stage immediately. I don't care what you're doing. I do not care what you're doing. पीछे करो.
Ladies and gentlemen, the sun may have set on KLF, but the lights have come on and they're on for the Qawwali, which will be on in a minute. Ustad Farid Ayaz and Ustad Abu Muhammad. So please remain in your seats.
It'll take 20 minutes to set up the Qawwali, so we'll need 20 minutes. Thank you.